Hey, just a quick heads up, although this is still compliant with YouTube guidelines, I am going to be talking about a game that has some adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised. Ask your parents before going online. No More Heroes is an infamous series that's somehow become more and more famous over time. It started off as one of the Wii's most gory games and carved its own niche, bringing more notoriety and fame to its creator, Suda51 of Grasshopper Manufacture. I thought it would be a good idea to examine all the games in the No More Heroes series just before the release of No More Heroes 3, so let's head into the madness of Santa Destroy and learn about the original No More Heroes. Let the bloodshed begin! Fuckhead! I think to start things off, it's important to explain why people gravitate towards the No More Heroes games, and maybe explaining my own story can help with that. So for context, No More Heroes released in North America on January 22nd, 2008, so I would have been about 13 or 14 years old. You have to remember that this was pretty early on in the Wii's timeline. The first full year of Wii games was behind us, but as shown by the marketing in a very obvious way, the console was for kids and families. If you want to play something a bit more mature, you'd have to look through online forums to find out what was good, or accept playing weird ports of Call of Duty games. No More Heroes was one of the first M-rated games to be released on the Wii, and it's actually one of the very few titles that can claim to be a Wii-exclusive mature video game. I wasn't expecting to find out about it when I got the March 2008 issue of Nintendo Power. When I saw it in the store, I think my brain saw a Smash Bros. Review on the cover, and I snatched it up, wanting to learn more about Brawl. So I skimmed through, read the review about Brawl, and decided to keep reading a bit more when I stumbled upon this review, The Wii's Wildest Game. The first part pulled me in instantly. Suda51 is a maniac. The cult classic game director of GameCube's bizarre Killer 7 has outdone himself with No More Heroes, the crudest, goriest, and nuttiest game on Wii. As the charismatic Travis Touchdown, an anime and pro wrestling loving punk whose goal is to become the #1 assassin, you go after those ranked above you and put the business end of a beam katana to the legions of henchmen that stand in your way. You also explore the city on your bike, take on side jobs, and goof around in Travis's motel room. And this game is a hard M. Foul language flows fast and furious, and bad guys explode like overstuffed blood piñatas. I mean, yeah, I think it sells itself pretty dang well. As a kid, I was into anime and pro wrestling, so sign me up. I'd recently started doing some online shopping, so I went on eBay and grabbed a copy for about 20 bucks Canadian. In my house, I wasn't allowed to play Grand Theft Auto or any super violent games, so anything that maybe had a slight amount of violence or adult themes that my parents didn't really understand, perfect game for me to play. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, I hope you don't watch this video. What I found out after booting the game was that No More Heroes was, in fact, very blood heavy, but it did have a lot of charm and character. The basic premise of the story is, well, basic. Travis Touchdown is a former pro wrestler turned weeb otaku edgelord that lives in a motel on the outskirts of Santa Destroy, a fictional California-style town with not so much going on. Without a stable job or any sort of personal life, Travis spends his days watching pro wrestling and lewd tapes or playing video games, most of them coming from the store near his motel room, Beefhead Video. He also likes to drink at the local bar at night and buy all sorts of collectibles. When the game intro kicks in, we learn that after stopping at Beefhead for a regular rental, Travis has no money because he spent it all on an online auction to get a beam katana. But why? Well, at the bar one night, Travis meets a woman named Sylvia Crystal. She's an agent of the United Assassins Association, and she has a proposition for Travis. Kill the Drifter, an unknown assassin. Not knowing her true identity, but obviously just thinking that she's a hot girl who wants him, Travis buys the beam katana and fulfills the job. He then learns about the association and its rankings. There are 10 assassins in the UAA, with Travis now being ranked 11th. If you want to move up in rank, you need to pay a stipulation fee for the ranked fighter to accept your challenge. Once the fight starts, whoever survives wins. Travis is motivated to make it to the top of the association, but really only after some persuasion from Sylvia. Yeah, this game is not subtle at all. It's lewd, it's crass, and it breaks the fourth wall constantly. But it does throw in some cool references, some obvious, and a few more that are beneath the surface. It has fun NPCs to meet, weird side jobs, and little things that you'll notice exploring the game in the main story or driving through Santa Destroy. I think what draws people to No More Heroes is the effort put into the small things to make the game feel full of life. That, and the gameplay is fun as hell. No More Heroes originally was very motion heavy, as was the gimmicky nature of the Wii. You would hack and slash your way to victory, swinging the Wiimote with lots of fervor. Although looking back at it now, it definitely wasn't as crazy heavy on the motions compared to some other games. Most of the time you could flick your wrist and that would pretty much suffice, with the eventual kill prompt indicating how to swing the Wiimote. As the game was ported to other systems, the control scheme would change due to a lack of motion controls, so now you'd have some button presses and control sticks as substitutes. Now that I think about it, it might be a good time to actually explain the different versions of No More Heroes. The Wii version is the original classic version. Honestly though, it hasn't aged amazingly, and even if you upscale it with the Wii U, for example, it's a bit rough around the edges with the motion controls and performance issues at times. I don't know if it's really worth it to bust out your motion sensor for this version. The first port, which is titled No More Heroes Heroes Paradise, first came out on the Xbox 360 and PS3 in Japan before eventually being released worldwide on PlayStation 3 only. It features a lot of changes and improvements, the character models look much better, and there's both gamepad and PlayStation Move support. Other new features include trophy support, new modes, side missions, extra bosses, and even more. It does play a bit differently to the other versions, and visually it's not really the same. It doesn't have the cool cel-shaded look of the original No More Heroes and the other ports, so take that how you will. There's a few versions of Heroes Paradise, but you should really only worry about the PS3 release if you're not in Japan. If you do want the Japanese version, get the Red Zone edition, and it has the most content. The Switch and PC ports are essentially rebuilds of the Wii version by Engine Software. There's not as many performance issues, at least on the Switch version. The PC performance can be really hit or miss based on some user reviews online, so take that with a grain of salt. The Switch version also supports motion control and button control, which is amazing, and I love it. My personal pick is the Switch version because it feels the most like the original. It's still on Nintendo consoles and you can pick between motion or button controls. I would also go for the PS3 version if you don't mind a slightly different visual style and you want the extra stuff and trophies. I think what's cool about No More Heroes is that it could have been a straightforward action game, but the flares it adds into the world building and the combat make this game excel beyond that. While you're fighting, you essentially hack away at an enemy until they lose all their health. A prompt will pop up on screen indicating how to motion your control, and you take them out for good. Every time you get a death blow, you'll see this roulette at the bottom of the screen. That is what's called the Dark Side Mode wheel, and it has 5 different winning combinations. Strawberry on the shortcake has Travis go Super Saiyan and insta-kill enemies. You can swing the beam katana any way you like. Blueberry Cheese Brownie lets Travis shoot energy balls and split enemies in 2. Cranberry Chocolate Sundae freezes time and lets Travis hit a button to destroy your enemies. Anarchy in the Galaxy showers your enemies with pink toxic rain, and if you're in the middle of a ranked fight, it will give you a money bonus at the end of it too. Cherry slows down time and lets you move with extra speed, letting you kill enemies Matrix style. The chance of getting a Dark Side Mode special move is dependent on your kill combo. As long as you don't get hit, your combo grows, as does your chance to win. It adds a little bit of spice to the hack and slash antics of No More Heroes, and it's great. While you're managing your combo chain, you'll also have to manage the power level on the beam katana because, well, batteries run out. And the way you charge up your beam katana is just, is very motion heavy. Let's just go with that. Travis can also use his wrestling experience to his advantage. Using your secondary move, Travis can grab an opponent and use a combo to execute a devastating finisher. Before you fight every ranked opponent, Travis will usually find a wrestling mask laying around with secrets of his wrestling past. He remembers a legendary move and can use it right away, usually in the ranked fight. There's also wrestling trading cards scattered in the levels, but these only really amount to in-game collectibles in the motel. It's a nice little side quest though if you like that sort of thing. Between each ranked fight, Travis has to raise money to challenge the next ranked assassin. The best way to fundraise is side missions, so that includes assassination gigs and odd jobs. The gigs play like regular combat. It's usually something in one of these categories: time attack, don't get hit, kill the leader, wrestling moves only, batting contest, or score attack. They're fun, but they can get somewhat repetitive. The odd jobs definitely have more variety. There's 10 in total, and you unlock one after each ranked fight. These can range from coconut collecting to gas pumping to bike jumping. They're very wacky and I do like a lot of them, but some of them can be really annoying to get through, especially since getting a gold medal in each job unlocks a new gig at the Assassin Job Center K Entertainment. I'm looking at you, Scorpion Exterminator. I'm never playing you again. You'll find a few collectibles around the world like money and Lavakov balls, a reference to the Dragon Balls of DB and DBZ fame. They're connected to an old assassin named Lovakov who will teach you a new technique if you bring him 7 balls at once. Does that sound familiar to anybody? It's easy to find them though. You can see the dots on the world map in your main menu and you can get it all done at once, and it does make a few fights much easier. No More Heroes, despite all its weirdness, is just fun. It's the little things that count. I should just have a normal mode of transportation to move around Santa Destroy, but with the Spell Tiger, I can do burnouts, I can smash into trees, crash into buildings, and I can jump wherever I want. I also like that when I'm going around town for missions or to find some new collectibles, there's little secrets hidden around Santa Destroy. The game really does reward progression. You begin to learn more about Travis's story, his attitudes on life and death, and the people around him. It's kind of like a Quentin Tarantino film. You're kind of thrown right into the ongoing story, and as it moves along, the story peels back more and more layers to reveal all the information to you. It can get hard to not get lost in the sauce, but it makes the little details matter. Considering Suda51 wanted this game to tackle social issues, I think it's a great medium to do so. But while I praise No More Heroes, there are things that I'm not so fond of. Details matter, both good and bad. While it's fun to have a cool bike for tricks, what are you gonna do when the town you're exploring isn't as big as you thought and you've already seen everything there is to see? The little secret areas I mentioned are cool, but they're far and few between. It feels like the game tries to make itself seem a lot longer than it actually is. There's a lot of repetition with the side missions. You'll have to backtrack a lot for really weird reasons, either to prepare for a fight, go to a fight, or to a side mission, or if you're in the middle of Santa Destroy and you want to save, you have to travel all the way back to the motel just to be able to save your progress. Some parts of the game also matter a bit too much. Why should I get a gold medal in a side job if I'm just getting a carbon copy of an assassination gig that I've already played? I mean, it does speed up the fundraising, but I wish there was just a little more variety with the assassination gigs. It may be a while until I revisit this game, as the hard mode doesn't have a ton of new content aside from new collectibles. I think I wanted just a little bit more from No More Heroes, which is totally fine because we have 3 more games to play. You know what? Let's end this on a fun note. Here's some fun facts with FalseProof. Some of these I found either through fan wikis, TV tropes, or researching different articles. No More Heroes was originally called Project Heroes and would have been an Xbox 360 title until the president of No More Heroes publisher Marvelous and original Harvest Moon producer Yasuhiro Wada convinced Suda51 that the Wii was totally changing the idea of a controller, and that sort of interested Suda in moving the game over to the Wii. The Dark Side specials are named after Travis's favorite anime characters from Pure White Lover Bizarre Jelly. It's a bit of a moe anime, but we'll learn a bit more about them when we cover the second game. There are way too many wrestling references to count, but I will say the ones I like the best. Travis Touchdown is not only based on Johnny Knoxville, but also inspired by former UFC champion and current pro wrestler Josh Barnett. Some of the notes left on the wrestling masks outside the boss battles reference Calgary, which is a nod to the Hart Wrestling Dynasty, which includes former amateur champion Stu Hart, WWE champion Bret Hart, and WWE Intercontinental Champion Owen Hart. This one's pretty cool. It's from TV tropes. So Matt McMuscles of Two Best Friends Play, who worked on the game as a tester, confirmed during his own LP of the game that Grasshopper Manufacture once put in the ability to send pedestrians flying and then explode them into a fountain of blood for the North American version. For context, when you actually hit a pedestrian in the game, nothing really happens. You just hear a couple sound effects. Matt was concerned that this would cause the ESRB to up the age rating to a possible adults-only rating, because anything that's not Grand Theft Auto is going to be heavily scrutinized for mature themes, and adult-only games are not permitted to be sold on any consoles. So he asked Grasshopper Manufacturer to remove this detail, to which they did comply. Now, I've been trying to find a source on this, but if this one actually does turn out to be completely accurate, wow. The infamous beam katana weapon that Travis originally wields is not actually a Star Wars reference, but inspired by the Schwartz weapon from the movie Spaceballs and the laser blade from tokusatsu action show Space Sheriff Gavin. Alright, here's one last fun fact. Before No More Heroes had a sequel greenlit, it was actually already part of a trilogy. Suda51 had already worked on 2 action-based anime games for the PlayStation 2, Samurai Champloo Sidetracked and Blood Plus One Night Kiss. During the 2009 Nordic Game Conference, Suda confirmed the connection and also claimed that the games form a sword action trilogy. If you want to learn more fun facts, you should definitely check out the Did You Know Gaming episode on No More Heroes. No More Heroes is awesome. That seems to sum it up quite well. It adds little details to make a small world bigger, it makes mindless hack and slashing have more meaning, and it also makes you want to root for a guy who really just wants to get laid. On the other hand, sometimes things can repeat themselves, you don't really have a ton of area to explore, and the story can leave you with more questions than answers. You take the good with the bad though, and No More Heroes bad isn't so bad. It's a fun and enjoyable action game, although violent and bloody too. If you think it might be for you, why don't you enter the Garden of Madness and play it for yourself?
And for you there holding the controller right now, just press the A button. Let the bloodshed begin.
Alright, thanks for watching my first review of the No More Heroes series. Come back next week for No More Heroes 2. If you want to watch something right now though, I do have another lesser known series that I love and I want more people to know about, Jet Set Radio. Check out this review of the second game in the series, Jet Set Radio Future, because I think you might like it if you really liked this video. Subscribe and turn on notifications, then you'll know when the next videos on No More Heroes drop. I'm FalseProof, and I'll see you later. Bye!